Boyers,
Oh.
we are back live to blow out your eardrums and bring you everything that has to do with Year 8, Season 1, TU2. But first, Nolan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
I'm fantabulous, man.
Fantabulous again?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a good word. I'm loving the word. New vernacular for today. That's always good.
Oh, yeah. I fell asleep to a history podcast, woke up to a history podcast. I'm doing great.
Just diving into history today. This is good.
Yeah. So to just jump off and jump right into it, let's do a quick recap of what you can expect in the upcoming title update. So there's everything that happened in TU1. Despite how you may play For Honor, I at least hope you can read English, even if you can't read in-game. And then here's everything coming in Title Update 2. We got a new hero skin. We've got Cathedral converted map.
Woo! Finally.
Yeah. We've got new armor variations. We got a throwback event, a trio of hero fests, and Hyper Duel throwback event. So I'm excited. I like Hyper Duels.
Hyper Duels are great.
Yeah. Every time we do this, people are like, just replace regular duels with this. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And we'll be happy to see all your feedback on all the things once they're out. But Nolan, I believe there's more coming today.
That's right, because if you look up, there's something dropping today. They're the Twitch drops. That's right, folks. Now, you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again anyway. If you have not linked your UbiConnect account to your Twitch account, what are you doing? Please do that so you can get all the awesome drops, because for every 30 minutes you're with us today, you're going to get a scavenger crate. And at the end of the show, we're going to pick some lucky winners to win a grand prize of either 100K steel or a brand new shiny hero skin, which is just... it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's choice. It is quite choice.
Yes.
Well, we got a lot to cover in the... Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
was there more?
There was, is there more?
There's always more.
There's always more.
It's us. Anyway, we got a lot to cover in this den. So coming right up, we've got all the Year 8, Season 1, TU2 details, les détails, that we want you to know about. But before that, we've got a little old sneak peek that is very much linked to Assassin's Creed. So we're going to show you right now.
Oh.
Enjoy!
Go check it out.
Requiescat in pace.
Welcome back, everybody, all the warriors out there. Today we are welcoming once again on the couch, Mr. Stefan. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Season 1's been awesome so far, and title update 2 is going to be even better. So hyped.
Yes. Also, Alex is back. We're happy to have her again. And for the first time ever on the Den, Amelie.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the couches. They're higher now. I like it. But yeah, we've got a lot to cover today. So why don't we just kick it off with you, Stefan?
Well, thank you very much. Of course, you've seen today we're going to, or 1 week from now, I guess, we will welcome For Honor's very first cross-brand hero skin with Ezio, of course, from Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
So super hyped. This will be a Peacekeeper hero skin. You're hyped as well? I guess?
Yeah, it makes sense. The stabby everywhere.
Stabby. You got to stabby here. You got to stabby here.
Exactly.
Exactly. So amazing. This is, of course, our iconic character from Assassin's Creed franchise, our friends upstairs. So it's wonderful to have Ezio able to come into For Honor. This should be great for our players. They can try it out on their Peacekeeper.
And it's looking crispy.
Yes.
I believe you had a hand in that, yeah?
My team did, yeah. Yeah, the character team really went and they remade this armor. So a lot of the pieces they had to add on to it. Things like the bracer with the hidden blade. Make that a little bit more in the style of this game, and retextured everything. The face is original, the weapons are original, they're all based off of things that were in Assassin's Creed, and we're really very proud of how it turned out.
Yeah, I think this is the H'est and the D'est that Ezio has ever been. So it's really cool to see Mr. Auditore in For Honor and looking sharp, looking crispy. So Amelie, what makes this skin special to the world of For Honor?
So for me, I really wanted for the player to feel like they're experiencing Ezio like we always have in Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So it was really to investigate in the how it was portrayed in this game. So I watch a lot of references of the old game and we talk about with the mocap actor that worked on Assassin's Creed before. And we come to the conclusion that the best thing to change was the navigation. So like all new character, we went to mocap, we shoot some new animation for the walk, the jog, the idle, and the sprint, and then integrate it to the game. The best challenge was to keep the animation of Peacekeeper and Ezio and merge them together, because we keep in the combat system like we see here, so it's staying the same. So everything's gonna be the same for him except for the drop attack. So the drop attack is gonna be unique to him, and it's gonna stay for him forever. Like we can see here, it's very cool with the blade. So it's very fun. And a unique thing too is the Assassin's Creed 2 animation style was like a bit old, so it was a very hard challenge to like integrate it to a For Honor universe with our motion matching system. So I think we did a pretty good job with it. The next thing that we changed was the some unique execution, emote, and signature. We adjust a lot of hand position, contact, and we add a little Ezio feeling to them as well. Thanks to Michelle for the help as well. And for us, it was our first gender swap hero skin. So I think we did a pretty good job with that. And I'm really happy for you to try it.
It looks phenomenal. Yes. And just like, so like Assassin's Creed 2 is the first game that I like launched with Ubisoft way back when. And so it's nuts to think that there are things from like 15 years ago and just the tech and how much has changed in the industry between now and then. And like, I can't imagine the challenges that you guys had in trying to bring that to a much more modern game like For Honor. But yeah, so for the very first time with a hero skin, we have added authentic VO for the Ezio skin because we wanted to make Ezio feel like he belonged in the game and not have it be just like, oh, those are canned lines that we've heard from other games. And then like all hero skins, you'll be able to change the color and material. However, there is a color that is the default color for the skin that is specific to Ezio. So this is also kind of like a first for us. So if you want the white and the red in those specific hues, that is only available to the Ezio skin. So even if you buy the skin on Peacekeeper, that that color combo and in those specific hues will only be there on the Ezio hero skin. And so they look really great, and it's a nice way for us to make sure that the skin always has that unique thing that is only there for it. But yeah, be sure to check out the skin because it drops next week. It'll be available for $14.99 US or $31,250 steel. Now, you've probably guessed it by now, but the throwback event is it's for the Creed. It's coming back. You probably connected that dot. So yeah, along with the beloved game mode Assassini e Templari, that will bring back the world of For Honor and Assassin's Creed, put them together again. And for that, we have a trailer.
Have you ever dreamt of living the life of someone else? Of going back in time and experiencing intense historical events exactly the way they happened? Well, dream no more. Welcome to the Animus Entertainment Experience. Powered by our cloud-based Helix software, Animus can decode the intense memories embedded in the DNA of that legendary warrior you always wished you could have been. For a limited time only, Abstergo invites you to link to the genetic memories of great heroes and to make their past your present. With the Animus, history is your playground.
I love For the Creed. It's always good to see it come back. But I know there are some people at home who maybe weren't here the last time it was around. They're new, or we're all getting older every day. Maybe you forgot. So, Steven, can you you like that? Can you remind us of the rules of the game mode?
I feel targeted, but yeah. Yeah, of course.
What are you saying?
Super cool game mode to play here, game mode event. What it is it takes place on 3 Dominion maps, one per match that you play. Citadel Gate, River Fort, and Beachhead.
I love River Fort.
Awesome maps. The way it works is it's a little twist. You don't capture the 3 points. You only capture the middle point. And when you've pushed the lane, your minions have captured it, then it will spawn a commander at either the A point or the C point. So this will be Ezio or Cesare.
So lane's super important.
Lane's super important.
All right, I got this because I'm a lane guy.
First step, all for the lane, capture the lane. That's the only way to spawn your commander. And once you do, you go and you kill that commander. That gives you the big point rush. And then you go back to B and recapture this.
I know you took a little bit away from me with Warmonger, but I still own the lane and I'm going to be there.
Perfect. And this is really good strategy, actually, because the opponents have to capture the lane to get their commander and get their points. So it could be good to deny them capturing B at all. And if you fail to do so, it could be good to prevent them from killing their commander. So that's a game loop.
Well, I'm on it.
Get out there and kill somebody.
And I think we have some more stuff coming in.
Of course. Yeah. While this game mode event is live, we'll have a couple of cool, awesome things across the realization of the in the game. Of course, the new landing page.
Yes, for the landing page, it was my first time integrating the character in the landing page. Thanks to Kim for the background and Fred for the VFX. We did a super great job with it, and I feel like we're switching games. Like we're opening an Assassin's Creed game for the first time. I'm really happy with it.
I mean, I'm gullible as a baseline, but if you showed me that and you were like, hey, yeah, this is an Assassin's Creed game you've never played, I would believe you.
Yes.
Because it just looks really sharp. You and the team did a great job on it.
Yeah.
Props to everyone who's worked for sure on this. Looks amazing. Quickly going through the rest, we've got minions as realization in this game mode event as well.
With great helms.
Exactly. There's a different one for each. So the knights are a bit Templar-ish, and you'll see samurai and Viking as well. And then, of course, we've got the AC drop attack available to check out for every single character in the game mode event for these 3 weeks.
Wait, every character?
Every character.
I can do Ezio drop attack with Big Boy Shigoki.
You can do Shigoki. You can do whoever you want for 3 weeks. And then after that, the only one that stays is the Ezio hero skin.
I get it. First drop attack is free.
You see right through it, yes.
But we got more than that. There's always more. We got event pass rewards. Say that 10 times fast, except don't. So let's look at the ones that are coming out the first 3 weeks. So week 1 through 3, starting on April 25th. We've got some fresh stuff. Starting off with the battle outfit, Battle of Heroes. That's a lot of saying battle, like battle. Then we've got an ornament, Hero of Heathmore and Alex. This looks like super intentional.
It does. Well, the shape is already a little bit like the Art of Battle symbol. And then we kind of drew on the theme of nostalgia that we had at the very beginning of the season. So we've got some colors that represent the different factions. We've got the yellow, the green, and the red for the knights, the Vikings, and the samurai. And then also this mood effect, the Vitruvian hero. So in Assassin's Creed, the Vitruvian Man is kind of a bit of a big thing, you know, with Leonardo da Vinci.
Deal.
Yeah, but we have our own representation here with our knight, our Viking, and our samurai all coming together to create the Vitruvian Man.
I love Nusha. That's a great little emote. But no, the Vitruvian Man looks great. I love that it's a merging of the 3 OGs. That's really nice to see. But in addition to that, we've also got some elite outfits. Did I skip those? No. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. We've got emblem outlines, and also in week 1, you'll be able to get all the weapons from the very first AC event that we did. So this will be for the first 22 heroes in the game. So the 12 base heroes, the 6 year 1 heroes, and the Wulin. And those will be lootable just by playing the game. So if you're like, oh, I wanted that variant of the thing that was from the first time, you can get it again. So now let's take a look at the stuff coming in week 2 through 3. So this will be starting May 2nd. You'll be able to loot the rest of the customization items from both of the previous AC events. And that'll include a pair of battle outfits, Valhalla Quest, as well as the Animus Project, which we'll see here in just a sec. I always love Law Boy. He's always good. The bringer of the law, and everyone's favorite berserker there. As well as we have a couple of elite outfits. The first one that we're going to take a look at here is the Ruler of the Masses on everyone's favorite stick boy. And then followed up by the Champion of the People. So Ruler of the Masses, Champion of the People. I sense a theme going on there. And there's PK looking lovely. We've also got the ornament, Sinan's Wings, which is looking great on Nobu here, but I've got a couple heroes that I'm going to slap that on the shoulders with. And then everyone's favorite spammable, Welcome to Valhalla, mood effects. This one looks great, and I think you had something to do with that, didn't you?
Oh, we were working on it when I first joined the team.
Yeah, that was like your first thing.
Yeah.
And then we've got a pair of synchronization mood effects. First up is the Assassin synchronization. Love the sound effect on that one. It's super good. And then the Templar synchronization as well, for those of you who just want to roll deep on your knight lore. We've also got some engravings and some emblem symbols that will be lootable for the time. But Alex, would you be so kind as to show us the new armor variations?
I would love to.
Yes! Because you could always say no and just leave.
What would happen? Yeah. Never tried that before.
So I appreciate that.
Yes. So first, quick announcement. This is the last time that the armor variations are going to be coming in the second half of the season. For the rest of the year, you're going to be getting the armor variations at the beginning of the season. The number of armor variations not changing at all, but just the time that it releases will be. So for this one, we have the Knights and the Vikings, and you're going to get the Samurai, the Wulin, and the Outlanders in just a few weeks. So what you might notice from these armor variations is that they are highly customizable. They don't have a lot of emblems on them already. They don't have a lot of engravings on them already. You can put whatever you want on top of them. All of that silver metal is alternate material. The gray cloth on the knights, that's your color. On the Vikings, all that light brown, also alternate material. And your hair is going to take color.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love material-heavy armors. They're always really really nice.
Yeah, we went for a bit of like a medium armor feel for the knights. For the Vikings, we had some elaborate tattoos to go with the simplistic armor.
Nice. So the fashion community should have fun with that. Some nice blank canvases for you to express yourself on. And that was it. We didn't skip anything, right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
got it.
So I just want to thank all of you for joining me on the Den today. Also, huge thanks to the Assassin's Creed team for the sweet collab that they did with us. So be sure to check out all of this. The hero skin dropping next week. Sorry, and not for a limited time compared to the event. I'm not sure. Anyway, coming right up, we're finally going to get a look at the Cathedral converted map for Dominion. And so we'll be joined by Ed for that. So stick around, and also thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you guys
Glad to be
around.
here.
Yeah. Anyway, don't go anywhere. We're gonna look at the full armor variation video, and we'll be back with Ed.
Welcome back, Warriors. Thank you so much for sticking around with us. We have some awesome new content to show today about this upcoming converted map. And so join me on the couch is Ed. Welcome, Ed.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm super happy to finally be able to show and tell more about the map.
Oh, we're going to show and tell. There's a lot to go over on this too. But I wanted to just take 1 second, audience out there. Just know, like, we were watching the chat and we saw there was a few questions about the new Ezio Peacekeeper hero skin thing there. This is not limited time. All right, we just wanted to specify that. Yes, we have a limited time game mode event, but Ezio, he's going to be around to stay. So don't worry about that. We just wanted to make sure everybody at home knew that He's going to stick around forever, so it's going to be awesome. So it's good. But to talk about these maps, now this is a huge deal. I'm so excited for this.
It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute. Yeah. And we've teased it, we've kind of mentioned it, but now it's actually time to kind of like dive in. What's it going to look like? What's it going to play like? So Ed, what can you tell us about the new map?
Yeah, let's get right into it because we have a lot to cover here. So let's start off with the here's the overview of the map here with the 3 capture zones, A, B, and C. As you guys know, very important to play Dominion.
Yeah.
So like to kind of take you guys through a bit of the design process here was like, say on day 1, I put in the spawners in the map and I had to calculate my runtime parity across the 3 different zones there.
Okay. Now, I'm sure I know what that means, obviously, I think. But for just those at home, what exactly is runtime parity? Like?
So it's a technical term. You don't need to worry about
thank
it.
God.
But, yeah. So it's a fancy way of saying the time it takes to get between spawn and each of the capture zones at match start.
Okay.
So we're looking to have a balanced map. Here, we don't want to release something that's unbalanced right out of the gate.
Of course.
So yeah, that's essentially what I'm talking about when I say runtime parity. So equal for both teams. Getting back to the overview here. So when I placed my spawners in the map, I saw that I had equal runtime parity to capture zones B and C. So that was nice. But A was quite severely off-balanced. And so it wasn't a question of moving the spawner closer or further because then I would mess up my balance on the other 2 capture zones. So I kind of had to come up with some clever tricks to get balance on all 3.
Gotcha.
So starting here from the defender spawn, yes, there is a geyser, and let me tell you why. At first, I removed all the geysers because I'm like, all right, we don't really need them, but essentially, I ended up adding 2 of them back in so that the defender team from match start has to navigate around the geyser to then get their footing inside capture zone A. So that kind of adds a few extra milliseconds, because we're trying to be as precise as possible. The other thing we did was we elongated the capture zone here, so it's much wider than it was even in a past event. So that also helped attackers get their foot in sooner. And from the attacker side, we created a new path from spawn. So here you have that little mountain of rubble and stone that goes off. And also on the side, you have this path that was always there in other game modes. But coming up here, this little portion here, normally there's a boulder that's blocking this area. So this is non-gameplay space. So I opened it up so that attackers could get a faster navigation path to capture zone A. And the other reason why I added the geysers back in was when you're standing in capture zone A, you had a little too much visibility on the defender spawn zone.
Gotcha.
So, when the geysers are erupting, it kind of cuts that line of sight.
So let the defenders be a little sneaky on their spawn, right?
Exactly.
You don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. So that's some of the things we need to consider when converting these maps because, they were designed a certain way, and sometimes you have open lines of sight in certain areas, so we need to be a little clever on how we can cut those lines of sights.
Gotcha.
Moving on to Capture Zone B here. Capture Zone, the minion lane will run through the cathedral. And so this is actually going to be our first Dominion map with a roof over the minion lane.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so you're going to have to choose your feats.
Oh, so you can't be arrow storming in there and
right?
Catapults in there for the minion lane?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that'll be it's a nice change of flavor for the new Dominion map. You'll also notice that in the back there was previously a huge statue and a statue base kind of blocking the middle entrance of the cathedral. So I removed that so that players and minions can get in, access it a lot more comfortably.
Awesome.
And there's also a bridge now that players can take to navigate between capture zones A and C. So you're not forced to run through the minion lane to get to the other zone.
I still love the just the image of that warden just running by. Thank you for looping that, Max. It was amazing. Now, does the bridge there? It's kind of over the minion lane. Is there chances for drop attacks, or what are we doing over there?
So I did remove all the drop attack opportunities there since it's a narrower minion lane than other maps. So if it'd be like drop attacking fish in a barrel. So as the saying goes,
I feel like I'd be the fish in that scenario too. So thank you for that. Yeah.
So yes, and so now moving on to capture zone C here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So for those of you who might have for those of you who might have played a past event, this is pretty much kept as it was. Though I did remove a fire trap that was previously there because
that was spawned from a previously, like it was a bit of a perch there at one point, right?
Yeah.
For some Kevin individuals in the past.
Rip Kevin.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for the capture zones, the balancing, and all the thought process that went behind all that.
Wow.
So now I want to touch upon something that we talked about the previous time, the intro cinematics.
Ooh,
so quite a bit of work went there. Shout out to Amélie once again in the back. Yeah, she did a great job. It was again a learning exercise for us because we had kind of lost some of this knowledge, and Felix as well, our tech designer. They kind of had to retro engineer, how to make these happen once again.
Nice.
So now we have that skill set, we have that knowledge moving forward. So hey, I really hope players enjoy.
I can't see how they won't because I mean we've had a chance to play this internally. It's a ton of fun. It's just so nice and refreshing to have something new like this in Dominion. So it's great. So Edgar, amazing work. Looks incredible. And shout out to everybody else on the team who worked on this and contributed. So thank you all so much. And Warriors, you at home, the Cathedral for Dominion live next week, April 25th for everybody with the upcoming title update. And again, permanent. It's here. It's here for good.
That's
no
right.
more limited time. It is here. It's going to be in the rotation now from now on in Dominion when you do matchmaking. Available in custom matches if you want to go in and check it out for yourself. So it's the first Dominion map in a long time, and it's exciting. So it looks
and I hope to be back again in the near future.
well, I hope so too. I hope so too. Yeah, there we go. No, all right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Alrighty, so we are going to show you just kind of a bigger video showing off the Cathedral converted map one more time, and after that, stick around because we're going to have JC himself on the couch to talk about patch notes, balancing, all those fun topics, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You captured Zone A.
Welcome back, Warriors. We're excited to have you with us today. And joining me on the couch, our Lord and Savior, JC. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. I'm here for my legion of adoring fans.
Oh, man, they're out
and
there.
the people who hate me too. I don't know. I was looking at chat, and so it's fun.
They're all fans. Everybody's a fan. Come on, folks. Come on. So listen, JC is here. We got some patch notes and balancing topics to talk about today, but we had one other feature we wanted to spend a little bit of time to introduce you all. If you weren't aware, next week on the 22nd, it's actually International Earth Day, and that's a cool day. It's a time to celebrate the environment, and we've been working on a little feature in the background that's going to launch with the title update next week, and we call it Eco Mode. So what is Eco Mode? Well, essentially, it's a special power-saving mode that we've implemented into the game that's just going to help save money on your energy bill. It's a nice thing to have. This is going to be added into the options. It's opt-in, so it starts off completely off, and you can just choose which version you want to use. There's 3 different versions: minimal, smart, and full. So if you turn on minimal, you're going to essentially save energy. It's going to go into a lower energy state on menus. If you turn it on to smart, it's going to start an energy saving mode if you're idle for 2 more minutes, or for 2 minutes. And if you put it on full, well, you're always going to be in an energy saving mode because it's going to disable certain enhanced graphics modes and settings and things like that. So how do you know if you have it on? Well, we put a new icon that's going to just appear only in the menus, just to show that you have it on. It's going to look like a green icon. It'll come up on the video in just a second in case you missed it. And there it is.
Yep.
So yeah, you can turn it on, save some power, just enjoy that, or just don't worry about it either. Either way, it's there for you as a happy Earth Day sort of gift from For Honor to all of our wonderful players out there. So hope you enjoy that.
And that's it for patch notes, right?
That's it. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
We're copying it here. No.
Big fake out. Big fake out right there. No, but we do have some more balancing topics to talk about today. So, JC, what do you have for our lovely community?
There's a couple of things
Just
today. Like, it's going to be like one slide.
Just one or two
Yeah,
slides.
yeah. No, so first things I want to talk about. First thing I want to talk about, right, actually, is the past testing grounds that we just finished. Right, the stuff we did about ganking. We got a lot of feedback. We've identified a bunch of things that need to be worked on. Notably, one of the issues that we had is there's like moments where it's actually better to take a hit than blocking because blocking doesn't count as a hit reaction. So there's a lot of those like little tweaks that we need to do. We need to dive in deeper on our end to make sure we go where we need to go. I was a bit surprised at first because I saw some feedback that was like pretty negative, and then players played it a little bit more, turned around on it. At the end of the day, it's like it's pretty good, so it's good. But the thing is, this is not a one day and it's done type of thing.
Yeah.
We have to re-implement it on every single hero, figure out solutions to all the issues that we found during the testing grounds. And there's not like only 1 or 2, right? It's a big rework of how all the entire hit system works. And so because of this, don't expect for that feature to come in like tomorrow, right? It'll take some time. We want to make sure that we do it right, that we inspect every little nook and cranny of how that works. So I don't have a time, I don't have a date, I don't have anything for you when it's going to come out. We're super happy that we did it. We're really happy that players went into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positives to it, but it's going to take some time for us to implement. So don't expect it tomorrow. Don't expect it at the next season either. It'll take some time, but hopefully we'll be able to come in as soon as we're able to do it. But it's complex. It's a lot of work, so we want to make sure that we do it right.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense.
Yeah, and then let's dive into the actual patch notes after that.
All right.
And speaking of things that take a little bit longer, Highlander.
Hey,
So the
there it
Highlander
is.
rework is finally in.
Yes.
It took a little bit longer than we expected. We ran into some issues redoing it, but it's we're okay, Max. So we're good to go. But honestly, like we're really happy with where we ended up with this. So I'll go over the changes just to be clear. These are the changes from current live to new live next week.
Okay.
So it's like there's stuff that was in the testing grounds, like a bit of how we're working through it.
So if they've never played the testing grounds,
Exactly. This was going to be happening to Highlander.
Yeah.
So first up, we have offensive form entry changes. So by that, we mean like how you enter offensive form and what ends up happening. So there's 3 kind of major changes. The first is that you can now enter offensive form after any feint by holding the heavy attack button. So what this means is you go neutral, you tap heavy to throw a heavy, you feint it, and then you hold heavy either before the feint or during the feint, and you will immediately transition to offensive stance, right? This gives Highlander a lot more options to get into it. It really helps you that you throw an indicator, right? So you don't know if you're able to parry, what's going to be able to happen there. It makes it trickier to interrupt, makes it trickier to, like, it actually makes even the Highlander's neutral heavies better because you're kind of a bit more worried about what's going to be happening. So that's the one big major change we have there. Yeah. The second line refers to it's fast flow to offensive form during offensive form side dodges. That's a mouthful. It's now from 6 to 800 ms. It used to be 4 to 6. Mm-hmm. This is the infamous wave dash. And so I don't want to skirt around it, right? We've removed wave dashing from the hero, at least at the time that we had before, mainly because it was a bug, right? It was unintended from day one. But we left it in because it's one of those things of a bug that became a feature because it ended up being necessary under some situations. Enemies like spamming attacks really quick. And because he didn't have a proper dodge attack out of the side dodge, he could kick, but you didn't really get iframes, you didn't really get anything. So it became really, really difficult to deal with opponents that were mashing a lot of attacks. So now that Highlander does have a dodge attack, spoiler alert, in offensive form, this is no longer strictly needed. I know some players are not going to be super psyched, super happy about it. It's obscure tech, requires like trickier inputs. But at the end of the day, it's something that we've been looking to fix for a while. We had bugs relating to this like a long time ago, like infinite kicks and all sorts of stuff. So it's better that it's not there for the hero's health, for playing against them. And you're going to get a dodge attack, which actually is even better than wave dashing, because then you're going to be able to do a lot of cool stuff with your dodge attack. So that's great. And then the last one here is you can now dodge earlier while you enter offensive form. So what this refers to is when you're entering from neutral, right? And even from feints, but more effectively from neutral, if you hold heavy and you go into your offensive stance, you can dodge way earlier than you could before. I don't have the exact number right now on paper, I'm sorry, but you can see it, it's in the patch notes. But the idea here is that if you were facing a Highlander and you saw him enter offensive stance, you could very reliably interrupt them and throw out a light, and there was nothing they could do about it. Yeah. With this timing for the dodge, now you have to make a read as to if they're going to dodge or not and what's going to end up happening, because it's much harder to interrupt them. You can like go into offensive stuff form, really dodge super quick, and you'll be able to dodge out of an interrupt attempt and then beat them with your dodge attack and get into this. So it's a bit of a quality of life change here to help him get into that mode a little bit safer. Yeah. Now we have offensive form changes themselves. Biggest one is kick can now be feinted. So that's great. So kick and caber toss have been changed a little bit here. But the idea is that when you're facing a Highlander, if you see them kick, you can just roll away. On live right now, just roll away. There's literally nothing Highlander can do. The best you could hope for is kind of like they would miss their roll input. So what we've done here is you can feint the kick, and now you can also do caber toss from front dodge when you are in offensive form. We also gave that caber toss a little bit more forward movement. It's a little bit faster when you use it from front dodge as well, to be able to reliably catch rolls. So these two changes by themselves fix the roll issue. That's great. And then the feint also fixes the issue that Highlander has, where right now, because everybody has a dodge attack, the kick, soft feint, the caber toss only works on opponents that are empty dodging. Yeah. If they dodge, if you do a dodge attack, your caber toss is going to miss them. We've figured out maybe we can give them armor, but then it's a bash that armored that you can it removes options from players. So instead of having that as a feint, you can feint your kick, parry whatever is going to come at your way, or dodge into guard break, do whatever you want. But it works a lot better. It's a lot more effective. You can feint the guard break as well if you'd like. Yeah. So it's really about giving Highlander better mix-ups in here. That being said, you can still kick the caber toss if you want to. Like, one of the big things that we've been trying to do in this rework is keep a lot of what was making Highlander. We've experimented with like some weird tech where like from neutral you can just hold heavy and then you wouldn't charge immediately to make like some things a little bit easier. But then the more we're playing with it, the less Highlander it felt. Yeah. So that's a lot of what we're trying to go with this rework, is keeping the feeling. We know players love Highlander, because I love Highlander like really, really much. Right. And so even though we're fixing some things, we're trying to adjust these things so it works better. As I mentioned earlier as well, we have a new side dodge attack, right? In offensive form, It's 14 damage, 600 MS. You side dodge, release heavy. You're going to do a side dodge attack. If you played in the testing grounds, you saw the animation for that attack was the same one that we have in defensive form.
Yeah.
But we've actually changed it and we made a new attack that is in the same direction as a dodge, whereas we're normally your opposite direction. So it's a little bit different, but we have a brand new attack. So that's great. Like, props to Vanessa and the animation team for putting that in.
Yeah.
Amazing looking stuff. We also have the top light attack is now 400 MS down from 5. That was a very recurring feedback that we got where why would top not be 4 when the sides were 4 as well? So this is a nice little buffer under there as well. All 3 lights in offensive form or 400 MS. It's super hard. It's unreactable from neutral. Very, very strong. Little range though, so you got to be right in their face, but it's still very useful.
Yeah.
And then finally, the heavy attacks in offensive form now deal 26 damage down from 30. The damage curve was a bit high. You get to land more kicks, more caber tosses, more of those things. So we need to lower that damage a little bit because otherwise it was just, again, way too strong. So it makes a big difference here. Another thing that's not in this slide here, but that kind of makes a difference is that the offensive form heavies cost 12 stamina now instead of 24. So it makes a big difference here. You can use them quite a bit more as well.
Okay, nice.
Next up, we have defensive form changes, which is quite a small slide. I think
There's a
I'm
lot.
thinking about it. Could have cut it in more, and then the 3-slide challenge would have been beaten here. So that would be. So
Is that a real challenge we use?
I don't know. That's what I hear. That's what I saw on Twitch anyway.
Okay.
So right now, like some of the things we've been doing on defensive form is that the light opener superior blocks, they now deal 18 damage instead of 20. Again, damage curve changes. Some of these attacks dealt too much damage, so we tried to mess around with them. Another big change is that the top heavies, actually the heavy openers have different speeds. They all used to be 1000 MS, which is really slow, but their armor, you're like, okay. But it prevented Highlander from having viable guard break and light parry punishes specifically. So now top heavy is 800, deals a regular 24 damage. Side heavies are 900 and they deal 27. So essentially, you get a guard break, you can get a top heavy for now for 24 instead of having to throw your zone attack. When you get a light parry punish, you get your side heavies at 27, which is one more than the unblockables as well in offensive form. So you don't really need to go into offensive form to get that extra damage. Again, it's one of those things where the input comfort of parrying, holding heavy, releasing it, like it just adds extra input complexity that is not really necessary for the hero. And even here, you're going to land it, you're going to go into offensive form. You're happy, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So that kind of works all around with giving him better options out of defensive form, lets him flow better into offensive form, get him a lot more normal punishes that we have on pretty much every other hero by now. So it makes a big difference here. The other change we've done is that chained lights no longer have uninterruptible stance. Highlander has, like, used to have at least, like, chain lights, like, kind of like Finisher is.
Yeah.
That had armor the whole way.
Right.
That was kind of oppressive. It was making people kind of annoyed. We've moved that uninterruptible stance. Jeez, I'm going to have a hard time saying that. We've moved it somewhere else, but it was no longer necessary on chain lights, really. So we just took it out of them. They're still good. They're still pretty fast. There's still a lot of good stuff there, but they don't really need that armor there. That's the thing. Then we have heavy finishers. We fixed a little bug where the guard break vulnerability used to be 200 MS on the chain finishers. Now it's 100, so we're good to go. But the big change with that and with zone attack is that they both chain into each other now. So if you throw a heavy finisher, whether it lands, hits, or is blocked, you can immediately go into zone attack. And then your third hit of zone attack can immediately go into heavy finishers. So you can keep looping those. You're a complete monster in the lane now because you have this big 360 arc going 3 times into a heavy, into the zone. It's like big spinny top guy goes broom, it's kind of cool.
Spin to win.
Yeah,
Go.
but it's super interesting. It gives them like a really different flow. But again, it feels really well, especially because you can now feint the first hit of the zone attack, and it gains uninterruptible stance. I got it right at 500 MS for the first hit. Then the second and third hit now have uninterruptible stance at 100 MS. So again, you get armor in various stages throughout the entire zone attack. But it really lets you trade with opponents, lets you stay into that that big attack going. Fits really well with defensive form as well, so that's great.
Nice.
Like I said, a third hit can go into heavy finishers, and we've also adjusted all the weapon trajectories for the zone attack to fit the weapon a little bit better. If you've played Testing Grounds, there was some instances where like sometimes they used to phase through people.
Yeah.
So we've really adjusted this so it would really hit a lot more 360 around him and be a lot more efficient there.
Nice.
That's it for defensive form changes.
Oh,
Finally, we have, quality of life changes. So kick and keyboard toss no longer drain stamina. We've been moving away from stamina draining
Right.
bashes, so that kind of makes sense there. You can also now feint Celtic Curse, which is this front dodge heavy attack in defensive form. Before you could kind of like, you had to go into like the side feint, the side soft feints, or you had to like hold heavy to go into offensive form. You can now just straight up feint it and you're good to go. So that's like nice little quality of change there. Lets people mix up a little bit better. You can bait parries or whatever. That's good. And then we've also increased his movement speed to be the same as Kensei, so that rotations are better. They're more stable. It doesn't sound like much, but it was a big problem on Highlander. That was one of the big things that made him not really viable at higher levels because you couldn't rotate from B to A or C properly. It took too long. You had to pick rush as a first feat so you could actually go towards and run towards those sides. So it was like a bit annoying here. So we've really standardized this so he runs at a normal speed, like the same as Kensei. So it's not fast, right? It's not, it's not Shinobi, but it still is what is faster than it was before. So it really is more equal to what we have with other heroes.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much it for Highlander.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, that's a.
But
that's
then,
a lot.
so then,
oh yes.
remember when we had the first title update? There was a little bit of a trailer, and we saw some things in it.
I do. Some eagle-eyed viewers out there.
Right?
Kind of caught on to that right.
A couple of them, right? So what we've been doing, it's not a major rework to Warden, right? Don't get your hopes up. This is what's happening to Warden. But what we've done is we've given him new follow-ups to Shoulder Bash. Max, you can play the video, and then I'll explain as we go. So essentially what we've done is on left and right light attacks after Shoulder Bash, and then on all the heavies, and as well as on zone attack, we've given them all, and Top Light also does it, but all these attacks that I've listed that are listed here have brand new animations. We took the opportunity there as well to make sure we did more half sorting stuff. I know it's a big request from the community to have half sorting attacks. I see Brian in the
Brian's
back, like,
dancing in the background.
going nuts, so that's great. So we've adjusted this, but at the same time, we wanted to keep Warden playing the same. So it's the same inputs. Everything's kind of the same. The damage is the same. Recoveries, timings, everything is the same. It's just different visuals. Because we wanted to make sure that because these have uninterruptible stance, they need to be different than the attacks from neutral. Because it's not always clear otherwise. Are you throwing your neutral one? Are you throwing the one after Shoulder Bash? Yeah. Did I mistime it and the wrong one came out? And why didn't I get armor here and there? So it's kind of like it's a whole package here for this. And the reason why we did this, which is also quite important, right, is Warden has a bit of an issue in group fights where you couldn't really throw Shoulder Bash because you would get peeled constantly, very, very quickly. So with this, you actually are a lot more solid. You're basically immune to like non-bash peels. So it makes the hero much stronger. In 1v1, it has literally no effect, but that's okay. It's really specifically for group fights and making sure you're going to be good. Because you don't chain on miss, won't really affect, like if you dodge attack him, if you go into a guard break, still happens, everything's still good there. But really, it's the focus on his group fight ability. It's the change that we're doing now for Warden. We're trying to figure out what else we're going to be able to do to make his group fight a little bit better. But that's like step one, right? It's one of those things that we're trying to go like a little bit more like step by step instead of trying to do everything all at once and see where heroes end up. That was very, very successful with Warlord in the past, as an example, where we did small incremental buffs almost every patch, and we got somewhere. I'm not saying there's going to be new buffs coming to Warden next patch, but it's just it's an approach we're trying to take a little bit sometimes where we do like it incrementally and see where things end up and readjust to get the heroes where they kind of need to be in a better position. Here.
Cool.
So that's it for Warden.
Very nice.
Then we have another slide, right? So
there's more slides?
There's more than another slide here. Which is a bit of a nerf to some heroes, but let's talk about it. Backstep attacks, right? So you can no longer backstep your light openers with these heroes. So Warlord, Valk, Kyoshin, Ephira, BP, Varangian, and Highlander. So you're looking at them like, that's a weird eclectic group of heroes.
It's very eclectic.
It's very eclectic, right? Yeah. Besides a bunch of them having shields, right? The idea here is these are all superior block opener lights. Also known as crushing counters.
Right.
Warden is not in here because he already could not backstep his top light. So
Right.
it doesn't really matter. But the thing here is that we've removed the ability to backstep. So even if you're holding like down, you're holding back and trying to walk when you're pressing light, you will just not walk backwards. It'll be as if you're walking forward or being neutral. You're still going to be going forward. And so the reason why we're doing this is this was a very, very potent option select against opponents. Because what you could do with a lot of these heroes, especially like with heroes like Kyoshin or Rafira even, you can just like hold back and then you see red, tap light. If it's a light, you'll crush and counter them, you'll beat them, good to go. If it's a heavy, you'll backstep far enough that the heavy is going to miss you, that things can miss you, and it made you way too safe for this. We're only focusing on these heroes for now. We'll see how this affects other heroes, how this affects other things. I know Shinobi has some issues here where you can backstep your light into like skipping to your offense. So we'll have to see if we do this on more heroes, if we do this on more attacks. But at least now for the superior block ones, also known as crushing counters, it's a very nice change. It affects Highlander too. That's kind of part of why we were pushing this at the same time as the Highlander rework to make sure that things were going to come in line with this. So it's a big thing here. It's important. It's a request we've been getting from a lot of players for a long time to kind of at least nerf these attacks. To be clear as well, I've tried myself like quite a bit to go, can we keep the backstep, but then not it be as bad and end up being worse because you would end up throwing unparable attacks instead, which is something that we really, really don't want to have. Yeah, no. So the more I was messing with them, the more it was either like we remove backstep, and it's a bit sad because you don't have that extra movement, but it created way worse issues. It would either you would become unparable or you would lose range completely on your lights, so you wouldn't really step forward. So there was a lot of like other effects that it created. So it's the simpler and the better solution is just remove backstep and we're good to go.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Then we have other changes that are a bit smaller on a couple of different heroes, but it's nerfs to some of the overperforming heroes. It's a first step here, again, just to make sure things are clear, but let's go through them. So Shinobi is light openers now deal 10 instead of 12. It was something that we had tried to do in the past. Something happened. There was a mistake somewhere in integration or whatever, and it didn't go through. So now it's actually through. We've tested it. Everything's great. So they actually do deal 10 damage. Okay. Again, damage curve was a bit too high. You can do double lights with it. Bit too strong. So with this, like it evens out a damage curve, so we're good. And then the second hit of the zone attack is now dealing 4 instead of 6. It's undodgeable when you dodge the first hit. It's a bit problematic. Okay. So by lowering it just a tad, it helps like ease the pain here a little bit for that issue. Yeah. And then we have Hito. So Hito has been like creeping up like quite a bit in tier lists. Yeah. I've been seeing like a bunch of different tier lists where Hito is a lot higher. And one of the major reasons for this is we discovered that the guard break vulnerability of our opener heavies, if you didn't charge them at all, was 333 MS. Normally, the magic number is 433. And the reason why it's 433 is that if I go and I throw a heavy at you, and I feint, and I guard break, and I read that you were going to try to parry, my guard break will always land. No matter what timing you feint, I feinted, no matter when you pressed heavy, if you were going to parry in the right timing, my guard break's always going to land. At 333, there's moments where the guard break will bounce. And so if you're fighting Hitokiri, Hito was super safe at throwing heavies at specific timings and parry windows where feint to guard break would just bounce off of her and she would get her heavies anyway. So what we've done here is the way Hitokiri is built is there's like when you start an attack, there's a charge portion and then there's a strike portion. And so the guard break vulnerability applies only to the strike portion that we spoke about. Like you're vulnerable to guard break throughout the entire charge, but when you release the button, you used to have 33 MS of guard break vulnerability. Now you have 133. Okay. So you charge for 300 minimum, then you go into 133 when you release. So it gives you a minimum of 433, which is, again, like I said, our magic number for this. Yeah. So it's less of a nerf and more of a bug fix. This happened when we cut down the attack speed to 700 MS. Right. And then like a mistake happened that where we didn't readjust that window because we have to do all these things manually. Some people think we have spaghetti code, but it's we do have to do stuff manually.
It's more of a fine pasta.
Exactly, right?
Not just
angel hair or something.
Angel
right?
hair.
So this is kind of how it works. So we kind of fixed this so that Hitokiri should at least respect the rules in that regard. So that should be good. And then we have Ephira. So top red moon and right red moon, which are the attacks after her bashes. So after the neutral bash, after her kick, they now deal 16 instead of 18. And the reason why we're like, again, you're like, oh, it's 2 damage, like whatever, right? It's because these attacks are guaranteed after a heavy parry.
Gotcha.
Right? You heavy parry, go into a neutral bash, go into those attacks. 18 damage is a tad too high for heavy parry punishes. We don't want to have that. There's a reason why we're trying to move away from higher damage heavy parry punishes. Often, it's not fun to play against. She still has her displacement that still deals a lot of damage. But if there's no walls around or anything, in most cases you're gonna be doing one of these two. And 18 is too high. 16 is higher than the baseline. Normally baseline is a light, which is about 14-ish damage. The problem is that you have to spend extra stamina for your bash. And so we're kind of comfortable going, well, look, you know what? I had to pay the stam cost for the bash. I have to pay the stam cost for the heavy afterwards. So we're okay leaving them a little bit higher, but not at 18 where it's just way above the curve.
Gotcha. Cool.
And then finally we have Orochi and Zerk. So Orochi, his own attack now deals 11 damage instead of 14. Again, changes to like some of these things, they can combo into like that combo light, all that sort of stuff, so that the damage curve is more equal to everything else that we have in Orochi. Saturday finishers now deal 28 instead of 30. Big change here. There's still 700 MS. These still have very, very large hitboxes, trajectories. It's really about making sure that they're not overly oppressive. We'll keep an eye on them. It's been popping up more and more and more and more that they're like difficult, they're really strong.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if we need to adjust them further. But for now, at least the damage is gonna be a little bit lower, and we'll see. And then finally, Storm Rush now deals 17 damage, down from 20. It used to deal 16, but then you had a guaranteed light afterwards that dealt an extra 4, so it was 20 total. When we removed that light, we were like, well, we don't want to nerf Storm Rush too much, so we kept it at 20. Like we raised it to 20 total.
Right.
But then 20 total is still too high. Like after all the data we've had, after everything we've been seeing, 20 is too high. Lowering it to 17, much more in line with that sort of attack. You're going to have to use it a little bit more if you want to be able to kill somebody with it. That's good.
Gotcha.
And then finally, Zerk. So Zerk loses a bit of damage at a bunch of different spots. Sometimes it goes on by 1, sometimes it goes on by 2. But essentially, it's the more damaging attacks that Berserker has, we're lowering them. So top heavy opener deals 28 instead of 29. That was a bit too high at 29. Top heavy finisher deals 30 instead of 31. Again, you can it's easy to go into those attacks, so we don't want them to have overly high damage. Side heavy finishers, they're 32. They're above the regular limit of 30, but basically it's because they're tricky to get to. So at 32, we're like, yeah, it's still a bit high, but we're okay. And then side dodge lights now deal 13 instead of 15. That is also because his side dodge lights are very, very strong. Big trajectories, can be dodge canceled, have undodgeable, lots of movement.
Yeah.
So we're lowering their damage a little bit, again, seeing where that goes. And so that's kind of like the idea here, right? So we took some of the overperforming heroes, trying to level them down a little bit with through damage, and trying to see where that's going to go, see how much of an impact it's going to have.
Yeah.
We'd like to take smaller steps forward to get into a position where we're comfortable, then massively over nerfing, right?
Right.
Nuking a hero sometimes, it's sometimes
Not always fun, yeah.
It is sometimes necessary, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because things are way too complicated. It's not about spaghetti code or whatever, but they're a whole, and then you pull on one part, and then everything else collapses. So we have to be really, really careful.
Right.
Sometimes you have to do this for things to stop being frustrating. Sometimes you don't. In these cases, we didn't have to do it yet, and we'll see where these things end up.
Okay.
That's pretty much it for balancing. Quite a few slides this time, eh?
That's quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was a lot. But thank you so much, JC, for coming on and sharing all that, as always, for these very in-depth explanations. I always really appreciate that. I know our community does too, to really just understand the rhyme and the reason behind it all. So thank you so much for sharing your insights and all the changes. And again, great job to the team out there who is working on these changes as well. So listen, community, all these changes, everything we talked about, if you missed any of this, we're going to have a patch notes, that'll be posted online for you to go through. You can read it all. Don't forget about eco mode as well. And all this will be save the trees, not going to go on the next one. Anyway, so eco mode, all the fun patch notes, lots of stuff to look forward to next week, 1 week from today, April 25th. Keep an eye out for all of that. Check the patch notes. And don't go anywhere because we've got a fun wrap-up outro coming up right after this. So,
Always
JC,
fun.
thank you
Always
so
fun.
much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Stick around. Don't go nowhere.
What a show, everybody.
Oh.
I hope you all are as ready as we are for the upcoming title update. Let's do a quick recap, though. So, to break it down, we got the For the Creed throwback event starting next week, which will also come with the Ezio Auditore hero skin. Both of these things are next week, as well as we'll be dropping that sweet, sweet Cathedral converted map. I'm super hyped for this. Cathedral was always one of my favorite maps.
It's so good.
Yeah, to be able to Dominion on it, I'm
man.
super happy.
It'd be great.
Because, yeah, you basically, well, at least me, I had to do customs before to see it. And I go, oh, it's so pretty. And now I can just Dominion away. We've also got armor variations coming for the Knights and the Vikings. A lot of blank canvas for your alternate materials there. And last but not least, we've got Hyperduel throwback event starting on May 23rd. So, seeing the conch with the bonk right there.
Oh, I know.
So, Hyperduel is a lot of fun. Looking forward to them. But, Nolan, I think there's more coming, right?
Oh, of course, yes. So coming up this season, don't forget, we have 3 more Hero Fest planned. We have one for Shaman planned on May 16th, one for the big boy JJ on May 30th, and then Hitokiri on June 6th. Now, these are great, so don't forget, when these are live, you get to play the hero free for a week if you haven't unlocked them yet. You get a brand new unique executions going to be dropping for them all, as well as double XP for playing the hero. So if you need to grind out, hit that rep 80, get those wildberry materials, this is the best time to get that. Man, that's such a good...
And that's not all, because we've got a Peacekeeper Hero Fest
right, speaking of
today. Starting today. That means new unique execution for the PK on top of the that unique drop attack sugar next week with the Ezio skin. Looking forward to that. But we got more. We got limited time content of the week. First up for April 18th, we've got the execution Sprightly Skewer.
Oh, that was PK.
Oh, that was the one we just saw. Oh, I wasn't looking at the monitor. That's on me. Yeah, so pick that up, Sprightly Skewer, get your PK on. And then we got more items coming on April 25th. We got the execution Fear Not the Darkness. Shown here on, on JJ. And a mythic outfit, the Apple of Eden. Or if you're from the Viking faction, it would be the Apple of Eden. For all my Norse lore nerds out there.
Those two pictures seem the same to me.
We've also got an emote, Master Assassin, 10k steel, shown here on Shinbro. the Shinro.
The Shinro.
For the falconers out there, we've got an eagle companion. I know it's not a falcon, but you know.
It's got wings.
Yeah. Shout out to Amelie for the eagle companion signature. And then once again, just to remind everybody, in case you forgot, the Ezio Auditore hero skin, seen here in the Uest, Hest, Dest possible.
You are gonna have to explain to me after the show, I think, what all that means, because I feel
Ultra high def.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah. That's it. I don't. We don't.
You
need
could
to
have done
say
it
that.
after the show, because now I feel foolish.
Yeah. He's
That's
just
okay.
Ezio's never been so HD.
He is the Ezioist Ezio, I think.
Yep.
Like, I think it
Yep.
looks great. And I think a lot of that content's going to look really good on that skin,
Yeah,
too.
well, AC Team can seethe because he's prettier in our game.
You said the thing!
No,
Supposed to say it out loud.
no. But we've got community videos here for you. Nolan hasn't seen them. You guys haven't
That's
seen
my
them.
favorite part.
I've seen them. I picked them. So let's take a look at them.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready for this jelly?
I am always ready
All right.
for the jelly.
All right. First up here, we've got the best part about Ocelot.
Ghosty mode.
Oh,
Love it.
Oh, it gets so much better. And this, I can
got-
confirm,
Oh!
this is the best thing to do with.
He got it!
Yeah.
Yes! Oh, man, that's got to be satisfying right there.
Dispensing Aztec justice. I bet you never thought you'd see Warden making some cookies. So we got domestic Warden there, not taking any shit from that dough. And then I had to throw this one out there.
God,
This is one of my favorite things to come out of the April Fool's event. Is just the Wulin take on. I don't speak Japanese.
They speak Chinese. Oh, man. Yeah, I love the April Fool's memes.
And then this lovely pixel art homage to the Last Hero Standing game mode. Apparently there was an uncolorized version, I'm guessing. I only saw the colorized
I
one.
like the colorized version. It's very nice.
And then it's always nice when your teammates know what to do.
No. Oh, I think we have... Oh, and it's gone.
In the tank. So there you go. If you want a shot at getting your videos featured on the Den, just post them on the subreddit or social media and tag us. It's always fun to go through them every month and see what's out there. It's just great because our community is so good at creating clips, art, cosplay, all of that. And so I always
Apparently making cookies, too.
Yeah.
We gotta see.
You gotta put all the rage
Talk to
into the
Vanessa about a
cookie.
new idea for unique execution
Yeah.
on Warden now, just to smash this.
My favorite thing is you take the ball of dough and you fuck it at the pan,
That thing
and I'm
you
like,
do?
yeah, every time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that next time.
Yeah, that's why I'm chill at work.
It's,
So
okay.
that's not all though. I think we got more.
That's right, folks. Don't forget too, arcade mode now free for everybody. So no excuse not to play. Check it out. So starting today, we have a new arcade event, the Messengers of Doom. The weekend
Doomy,
available
doom.
now, and it's for everybody. So go check it out and play it. Also, this weekend, starting tomorrow, we have an event order, the Medic Challenge. So be the faction with the most allies revived. So again, keep an eye out for me and please pick me up. I promise to do better next
Finally,
time.
I can get revived when I left bumper.
That's definitely a thing we could do there. So
help! Not helped. No revive. Just respawn.
just move on. Just be better.
Yeah, this is the way. But Medic Challenge changes that.
It does.
Hopefully,
yes.
sometimes.
Please. Yeah. So what else we got here? So yeah, we have the Assassini et Templari week one. So
Assassini e Templari.
Assassini. We practiced this and I still messed it up. So anyway, but yeah, so we have 3 weeks of event orders coming up. So the first one will be running from April 26th to the 29th. So that's next week after the launch of the season. So keep an eye out for that. All right.
Yeah.
And I think that's it now.
I do believe that is it now.
Okay.
So thank you everyone at home. Quick reminder, don't forget to follow us here on Twitch, like some of you aren't. It's strange. But also on social media, we've got our Twitter @ForHonor Instagram @ForHonor and if you like TikTok and you like For Honor, follow the Ubisoft TikTok because that's where we post our TikToks.
Amazing.
I think that's it for this week. So we will see all of you next time on the next Warriors Den, but stick around because we're going to do a surprise raid on Mr. Sheep Live if he's still online. So hopefully he is. And if so, he's going to get raided. If not, anyway, we'll see you guys on the battlefield. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. Bye.
Bye, everybody.